Okay, we're going to talk a little about something called hardiness. In other words, the question is, does stress kill you? Now, this is what we really need to know for this particular course is that there are people who seem to have a personality construct which allows them to even thrive on stress. Would you like that? Would you like to know about that? This is what the question is. What sort of people can actually do well on stress? The concept of which we're going to talk about is a concept which we're going to call hardiness. Now, actually, I didn't call it hardiness. That was a concept which was introduced by a psychologist back in the year of 1979 by Suzanne Kobasa. Suzanne Kobasa said this is the idea. She was looking at what? She was looking at executives. Hard driving, high stress, business executives. And she looked at them and she saw that a lot of them had high stress, but they thrived. Well, why? Well, not only them, but that's who she happened to look at. And what she seemed to find was this. She found that they became, their physical health did not deteriorate because of the high stress. High stress gives you a heart attack, a compromised immune system. It's going to mess up your whole physical. These people didn't. They actually stayed healthy within this. So she tried to find out, and she looked to see what the personality characteristics that these people had that kept them strong in the face of stress. What Kobasa found, along with her colleagues, that she identified three major personality traits which she said comprise a psychological construct which we now call hardiness. Hardiness is the ability to thrive in the face of high levels of stress. Now, what are the three things that she talked about? Here's the three things. Number one, she talked about the idea of seeing problems as challenges, okay? And if they're challenges that can be vanquished, then these people, be them executives, whoever they want, or saw the stressors not as something which will push them down, but rather something that can pick them up. Okay? And this is challenges to be met. Something happens to me, well, it's a challenge. So therefore, I can get more strength and more power to do it. This, of course, meant that the challenge, it was that the stress or the stressor was not something which was brought in from the side and knocks you on the side of the head. And that's not what it is. It's a challenge. It's this part of life. It's something which makes life wonderful. The second the factor which is contributing to the hardiness concept is that of commitment, a strong commitment. Now, if they were the executives, a commitment to the business, to their project, to the things. This is they were able to give their all to that, but it doesn't have to be. Of course, it doesn't have to be business. You can have a commitment to family, to a project, to an ideal. A sense of commitment gives a person more hardiness, more strength, and more ability to cope with this. The third factor is the idea of a locus of control. In other words, if your person believes that he has control over life, then it takes away the stress and brings in the hardiness. Okay. In other words, let's say like this, is the concept or the construct which you have very common in psychology is the idea of locus of control. Be it internal locus control or external locus control. Do I have the control over what's going on, or does something else outside of me? Do I lose the power to do well in school because a teacher hates me and therefore why am I going to work at it? Or is it because I haven't studied enough and I can do it, so therefore I can control it? That's an internal locus of control. If you have that idea, the executives, they found that all felt that we are controlling the destiny of our companies. We are controlling the destiny of our lives. And it's the same thing with any part of it. If you have an internal locus of control, then that contributes to the idea of hardiness, the ability to survive and thrive in face of stress. So you find those are the three factors are: number one, looking at the stressors as challenges; number two, having commitment; and number three, having an internal locus of control. Actually, we'll find this in many other things also. And in fact, idea that you have stressors itself, but the belief that stressors are going to kill you seems to be the bigger factor. In the epidemiological studies, in the sociological studies that have come out in the past 2 or 3 years, we find that in health science, health psychology, we find that it's not the idea that we have high levels of stress, but it's a idea of how we feel the stress is going to affect us. If you do not believe that stress is going to kill you, if you believe that stress is going to help you, if you believe that any stressor is a gift of God in order for you to work harder, then you're actually going to thrive. along with the idea of locus of control, and again, with the and on the side, another piece could be the commitment, which we're actually going to see when we talk about positive psychology.